Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. It is actually my birthday. It's a brand new week. It's a very huge week in terms of Arsenal's transfer news because we are expecting at least an official offer from Arsenal to go into Atletico for Joao Felix. But then we are also expecting a breakthrough in terms of the MYKHAYLO MUDRYK deal. So this week we're going to be diving into much of the transfers. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tuned in onto the podcast. Now, we're going to be diving into Mikel Arteta's press conference. And I think what's quite fascinating about this one is he was asked about MYKHAYLO MUDRYK directly as a player. Now, in most cases, he's never asked about players, players in particular. He's asked about what we're trying to do in the January transfer window or probably in the summer and things like that. But this time, he was asked about MYKHAYLO MUDRYK in particular, and we're going to be listening into what he had to say and maybe have our reactions as well. Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 500 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We are growing very, very fast, and I really do appreciate it. I really do. Now, first and foremost, Mikel yesterday in his press conference was asked about on how much he's looking forward to getting our FA Cup campaign underway. And he said, look, at the moment, really much. It's obviously a competition that is attached to the successful history of this club. So on Monday, we will have to have a very good start and a very good test as well. Now, I think what Mikel will be looking at in this competition, first and foremost in this game, is to make sure that we go past the first game in the FA Cup. The last two campaigns we've actually not. We were knocked out by Nottingham Forest, I think, last campaign, and then the other campaign was Southampton that actually knocked us out. I mean, we are the record holders of this competition. We should be at least playing, semi-finals and quarterfinals every round. So I think that's the first task, at hand. Just get past the first game. Just go past the past team. We can't get knocked out by, every time on the first game. And most of the teams we are given on the third round of the FA Cup are quite easy games. We're playing Oxford, Nottingham Forest, Southampton. Those are teams we should be beating every single season, every 90 minutes in every single game. And of course, the big news is that after this game, Arsenal will play Manchester City because we are playing. We were supposed to play whoever went through between Chelsea and Manchester City. And surprisingly, we are now playing Manchester City if we go through against Oxford City. So we need to go through here. We need to beat Oxford. And in my opinion, this should be a very easy game. Mikel, on any fresh team news, he says, no, there are no fresh team news. There are no fresh worries at the moment. But what I can confirm is that Emile Smith-Rowe is scheduled to come back in this game. Look, I don't know how big it is for you, but for me, it's quite very big that Emile Smith-Rowe comes back. Emile Smith-Rowe returns in this team. We looked at that quality, the lack of squad depth against Newcastle, and in my head I was going, how I wish we had Emile Smith-Rowe and Fabio Vieira on the bench. Maybe that would have triggered Mikel Arteta to make a double substitution. But look, you've got to back him. You've got to understand him. He said, when I looked at the bench and then I looked at the team that was actually in motion, the team that was already enjoying the moment, there was nothing to change. So Emile Smith-Rowe coming back is quite very important. It's going to give us that kind of squad depth. And look, in such games, that is when you've got to play your squad players. Fabio Vieira must play in this game. Emile Smith-Rowe should play in this game. Rhys Nelson, if he was okay, he should have played in this game. Hamad El-Neni as well should have played in this game. But we will cover that in the match preview and starting lineup as well. Mikel Arteta on what he's made of Oxford so far this campaign. He said it's always tricky. I've played there a few times and I've experienced very many difficult matches, so it will be difficult. We have to take the competition and the opponent very seriously and play well to a high level to win the game. Now, to be honest, I'm not really a very big follower of Oxford and the lower divisions football. I don't watch them. At times I just see a few results, so I cannot really make a lot of sense of Oxford. But what I know is that they're not at the level Arsenal are. They're not at the level at Newcastle, Brighton, or West Ham, three of our last opponents, and that means we should get the 3 points. We should get the job done. Unless otherwise, any other result will be quite very disappointing for me if Arsenal don't pull off 3 points or actually don't progress through to the next round where we play Manchester City. Right. On the importance of the no more red campaign, he says it's great. I think the support from the club has the support the club has given to the community and vice versa. The fact that we are constantly doing this kind of things is very, very important. It helps us keep a lot of people, especially young people, safe in our community, right? So we're gonna be putting on that no red attire. So we are expecting Arsenal to put on that all white kit. The words will be white, the kit will be white, and everything will actually be white. There will be no red to signify the end of bloodshed in the London community, especially among the young players and the young people and the youth. So look, I got a problem with this with that one. The last time we played in that all-white kit, we lost the game. I don't think kits lose games. I don't know. I mean, talk to me in the comment section, by the way. Do you think kits lose games? Like, a team can predominantly lose games because of a particular kit. Like, I've had those excuses from Manchester United fans that when they put on white, they don't win. I've also had those excuses from Arsenal fans, especially back in the day when we used to put on that yellow kit, that Arsenal don't win in the yellow kit. I don't know, but I'm not that superstitious. But anyway, let me know. But Mikel says the no red campaign is actually very, very important to the team and also to the community. And if there are any transfer updates, he says there are no transfer updates at this moment. But I want to expound on this because he was asked about MYKHAYLO MUDRYK and other transfer updates, and he said there are no transfer updates. That is number one. But then when he asked about MYKHAYLO MUDRYK, he actually said that we have to be attractive as a club. You can find this on Fabrizio Romano's page as well, my Twitter account as well, if you're following me, Cossy Arsenal, right? So he said that we have to be attractive. We have to stay competitive and attractive to players. It is very, very good that there are players that are trying to play for us, but at the moment, it is not only a one club decision. It's so many decisions that are actually are going to happen. But it says in the end, players should go wherever they want to go. That is him talking about MYKHAYLO MUDRYK, and you could see that he's trying to communicate to Shakhtar that if the player wants to join us, there is no reason for you to take a lot of time, discuss with Chelsea, discuss with Napoli, have conversations with all these other clubs that are actually not even key stockholders in the deal. If he wants to play for us, then let him go, let him come, play for us, and then everything will be sorted. So he still believes that he will sign MYKHAYLO MUDRYK. He still feels he will get MYKHAYLO MUDRYK deal over the line. Let's wait and see. Like we've already said, we are always behind Mikel Arteta now on this channel, and we're going to back him all the way through. On juggling the demand of another cup competition, because it's a competition that we are really looking forward to playing in, and brings back huge memories of our football club and the team, because not many years ago we actually won it, but also last year how we went out of the competition is a competition that we really want to play in and actually compete. Okay, I just feel like if you fail to win the Premier League and the Europa League, the FA Cup is a nice consolation. Like if Arsenal got top 4, won the FA Cup, that could be a nice consolation. Yeah, I know many Arsenal fans now have a lot of their hopes, through the roofs, and they don't want anything that is not the Premier League. They don't want anything that is not winning the Europa League. But things do happen, and we've already talked about this. Things do happen, and when they do happen, there is nothing we can do about them. So for me, I would take the FA Cup. I would take winning the FA Cup and top 4 or maybe top 3. It would be quite nice. It would be fine given the kind of squad we have at the moment. On if the ambition is to win it again this year, Mikel says the ambition is to win on Monday fast, and then go slowly because it is a very, very long run. On what he's expecting from Oxford, he says it will be difficult. From what we've seen, they've played in different ways as a result wise as well. They've had a bit of everything. It will be very, very special night, and everybody will raise their level, and it will be very, very tough as well. On whether Emil Smith-Rowe might play when he returns, Mikel says Emil can play as an attacking midfielder, as a winger, and even as a 9. I think he's played there before. First of all, we need him fit and at his best, and when we have that, we have an incredible player that we have missed a lot in the first few months. Tomorrow, he trains well. He hopefully will be available to give us something in the game. So Emil Smith-Rowe will be there. That is confirmed. On whether there is still value for money in the January transfer window, Mikel says valuations have to be made between the selling club and the buying club, and it's difficult, but it shows that there are areas, a lot of clubs with a lot of financial power to spend big amounts, and we have to compete with them. To be smart, we have to see good opportunities, and we have to be attractive for players. At the end of the day, players decide where they want to play, and if they want to play for our club, that is actually very, very great. So that is the quote that he was actually talking about when he was referring to MYKHAYLO MUDRYK. On the debate surrounding his touchline behavior, Mikel says, I'm not part of that debate. I think publicly they have their own opinions. I try to do my best for this football club, to defend it, to promote it, to play with passion. I believe this game has to be played with. There are moments. It is not the only way I behaved against West Ham. Every game is special. Every manager behaves differently regarding circumstances. You cannot take the context out of situation. I don't think that is fair. That's me. Whether I am here on the pitch, whether I'm here or on the pitch, that's me. That's the good and the bad. Look, I want to add my voice to this. First and foremost, what happened in the West Ham game was bitterly atrocious. We've talked about the refereeing in that game. We've talked about the refereeing in the Newcastle game as well. What I do not understand is when Arsenal are on top of the table, everyone is out there to get us. Everyone is out there to criticize our manager, criticize our players, criticize our movements, criticize our players, and all that. And when we're losing games, no one actually thinks about how Arsenal, behaving, how Arsenal doing this and that. Look, we're just in the spotlight, and people just need to understand that this Arsenal team is very young and has a lot of quality. We're going to be here for the next 5-6 years. Okay, I don't see how bad it was from Mikel Arteta. Yeah, and I've also seen the FA saying that Arsenal did breach some rules in the disciplinary rules in the Newcastle game. 2 clear-cut penalties that were actually not given. And in the end, it is Arsenal's players, and Arsenal's manager that are going to be blamed for whatever happened. I don't blame Mikel Arteta. All managers actually defend their teams. This campaign, we've already seen Antonio Conte and Thomas Tuchel face off on the touchline. It's the passion. It is the desire to defend your club. It's the desire to defend your players. It's the desire to stand by your team. And Mikel did nothing wrong. It's why we love the Premier League. I don't understand why people are coming out to criticize them. Anyone, if it was a Chelsea manager, everybody would have said, "Oh, look at how Graham Potter is actually passionate, affectionate about his team." If it's Erik ten Hag, everyone would say, "Oh, look at how Erik ten Hag is actually passionate about his team." When it's Mikel Arteta, because Arsenal are undeservingly on top of the table in their opinions, it is actually a problem. I don't see how our manager is a problem by putting us on top of the table. It's not a problem. It shouldn't be a problem, in my opinion. Mikel still on the on if he's trying to give instructions and encouragement on the touchline. He says it depends. The other day, it wasn't very focused on that. It was focused on other aspects of the game, and it's on if he thinks his behavior impacts the players. He says that's not for me to say. I hear a lot of times that this team is the mirror of the coach or the passion. So I do not know. Mikhail, on if he's going to change, says that's me. I'll always try to be better. Whatever I do, if it's tomorrow or the next day, is to make the club stronger, my players better, play better, and win. So if I have to do something, I will definitely do it. If you have to change something, believe me, I will look in the mirror at myself and I will change it very quickly. On the criticism, and if the criticism actually annoys him, it says, to be fair, I have not read it. Is the criticism negative or positive? Because criticism is not always negative. It can be very positive as well. So that's Mikel Arteta's press conference and his reactions to the transfer questions. A few of the players that are actually coming back and some of the things you would love to listen to. I'll speak to you in the next one, possibly in the match preview.